we think. A little bit of friendly trash talking going on here.
And the countdown has begun. We'll be underway in just a moment.
Looks like we've got Nyokin spawning at the top with Slugs spawning at the left. This should be interesting because Protoss means he does not have a lot of places that are viable to expand to. The expansions on this map are actually set up in a very interesting way because your initial and probably the expansion most players would be most comfortable expanding to is right outside your island, but there is less minerals there. So I think a good player in this case would probably expand to one of the corners as long as he feels like he's comfortable going there. And in this case, I think we're going to see Protoss expanding to the bottom left. That seems like the most realistic place to go to right now.
So we can expect this being an island map, that it's going to play slower than Paranoid Android.
You're absolutely right, but at the same time, there are very particular kind of brushes that you can do here. I mean, you know, Terran has one advantage in a way that, and what we're going to see, I'm near positive in this game, is that Nyokin is going to basically make his barracks, and he doesn't need Marines, so he's going to lift it off, and he's going to scout as if a Zerg would with an Overlord. So it's going to be that. I mean, he might have some kind of, if he catches them, if he scouts the right way, he might get a good glimpse at what Protoss is doing.
And we're going to see lots of missile turrets.
Yeah, you're absolutely
lots of
right.
air attacks. Maybe some drops coming in from Zealots onto the Terran base.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to see some harassment by Zealots dropped off early.
It would either be some Zealots or a Reaver, but you know what? Protoss might even try to just sit back and just build up a good economy and play defensive.
And
so
just
we'll have to see.
So you think that maybe Andrew's going to wait for Daniel to come to him with his Terran army?
I think Andrew might take a look at what he's going to do, at what his opponent's going to do, and then try to counter it from there. This is a very common build. You know, on most island maps, Protoss players tend to go gas first against Zerg, and then get their gateway because they need more gas later on. But in this case, he's going to go gateway because obviously Nyokin is Terran. Very standard build.
We have that barracks going down early.
Now notice the Terran gas geyser came up before the barracks. I think we can count on a lot of tanks coming up here. Those are very gas-intensive units, so we'll see.
So maybe we can even drop ship some tanks over into the Protoss base.
Tank drop is very possible right now. I would bet if he had gone barracks first, he might have done a vulture drop. Now, I'm not a Terran expert. I could be wrong, but that's just what's going on in my head right now.
Gateway has up and a cybernetics core on the way for Andrew.
Now, remember, we're probably not going to see any attacking units early. This is an island map. I mean, what they're going to be looking for is they're going to be looking for a way to expand and then build up and push out.
That Terran barracks almost completed. We're going to see that lifted up, moved across just so he can get a peek at what Andrew has going on in his Protoss base. Cybernetics core has come into play now.
Now we got to watch. We've got to see what Protoss is going to build. Is he going to go right for the robotics support bay to make some shuttles? All right, barracks scouting to the right now. Now, unfortunately for the
opposite direction, he needs to
opposite
go.
direction. So, I mean, any kind of advantage that Terran might have been hoping to find is not going to happen. I mean, Protoss is on the left, the barracks is going to the right. He's basically going to scout him in the last possible spot.
And we have that robotics facility going down.
Shuttle. Now, I think there are only two strong Protoss openers on this map that I feel comfortable using. One is going for an early Reaver in which I try to control the Terran, do a lot of drops, do some damage. And the other one is where you basically just get a shuttle, drop a probe on low ground, make a pylon, and make about 3 gateways, and use a very, very containment-styled play. We'll see. One of the two is my bet.
Daniel putting down 2 Terran factories on his island, taking a look over at what is spawning in next.
My bet with those factories is that one of those factories is going to be floated onto low ground in the hopes of defending that middle expansion like what I was talking about. I think Terran's going to try to take the middle expansion first and not go for the one of the corners. It just looks like it might be safer. So we're probably going to see tanks on in his main and his island, and tanks on the low ground.
Machine shop finished already.
Now, something important to remember about this map is that while you start out on an island, everywhere else is connected by land. So really, it's just a limiting factor, but once the game picks up, it's going to be nothing but these massive land battles.
Moving a Terran factory. Now, it's an interesting note. He made one factory close to the ledge. He could pick it up, set it down on the main ground, and just keep producing his units right there without even ever having to drop ship into the ground.
You're absolutely right. This is an advantage that Terran has. But, I mean, I'm interested. Okay, he's making a bike first. This bike is probably going to be used to scout out any kind of early expansion so that he can kill off the probe that might be trying to make the Nexus.
We're going to take a look. We have an observatory built. That's going to help out Andrew immensely as he can fly over his opponent's base and take a look at exactly what his tactics are going to turn out to be.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And notice that this bike is going around looking for probes. Then this shuttle is full of probes. Here we go. The shuttle. All right, now you drop the Dragoon on low ground. Is there a probe over there to the left of the Dragoon? Yeah, there's one. If that bike can get that probe before the probe makes the nexus, he could be put behind immensely. Here's the shuttle scouting the Terran's base. Looks like he just took a glimpse and then went back out. This probe is, all right, there it goes. This probe's running, but it's not going to be able to outrun him.
No, that Vulture definitely took him down with a quickness.
It looks like now, Protoss is going to try to go grab another probe so he can land it on low ground. Now, bikes cannot take on Dragoons one-on-one. The armor type is just too weak. Dragoons are too strong. Bikes have the speed advantage, which is why they're running around here trying to catch the next probe that's going to come out of this shuttle. Looks like he's going to take the shuttle down here, possibly. Yeah, expand down here. As you can see, the bikes are doing some damage. If these mines blow up this Dragoon, it's going to be a real pain. Looks like he planted one mine here in an attempt to stop the Nexus from making.
Dragoon taking those mines out, trying to battle his way out of the corner he has worked himself into.
Now, Protoss is expanding to the bottom left. I think this is the best idea right now because if he expands to the middle, he's so close to Terran, he can just get pushed and killed.
So by expanding farther away from the Terran, he's doing himself a favor. He's able to ensure himself more security, and he can get to his units faster to help save them.
I once heard a really famous StarCraft player called Tillerman say that on maps like this in Protoss versus Terran, the Protoss is more comfortable being farther away from the Terran because the Terran has to push, he has to take his time, he has to leapfrog his tanks over there. And that's probably what he's going to have to do to this expansion down here. As you can see, he's making 3 gateways, like I had predicted, down here at the bottom left. Those are all going to be making Dragoons, all going to be trying to shoot down dropships or anything else that might be coming at him.
We have some Vultures working their way to that expansion. Some Dragoons taking out the first Vulture.
I think it's a pretty good guess to say that Terran knows what's going on. Terran knows he's taking the bottom left.
Well, it's not like this is the first time he's seen it either. He's obviously played Protoss before. He knows the strategy, and he's just playing it like he should.
You're absolutely right, yes. And it looks like up here, Terran is not opting for an early expand. Terran is going to play a little bit more aggressive. He's got a dropship making and about 5 tanks there and a couple bikes. My guess is that he's going to do what's called doing an elevator, which is he's going to take these tanks, like you can see now, drop them on the outside, and then pick up a couple more and keep doing this until his entire army's there. But instead, he's doing a drop. He's going to fly it down here towards the Protoss expansion and possibly try to kill some probes at the
No way he's going to drop 2 siege tanks right in the middle of the expansion of a Protoss base.
You believe it or not, they do it all the time. It's called a tank drop, and what they do is they drop it, siege up real fast, and the Dragoons try to come in and kill it before the tank can do some massive damage. Well, actually, what generally tends to happen is the tanks drop, they siege up, and the splash damage can kill an enormous amount of probes, just really putting the Protoss behind. Oh, now we see the Dragoons ready for this. They're going to try to defend it.
Definitely going to hinder that drop, the dropship backing off.
This has been a very passive game so far. They're both trying to test each other's areas out, seeing what's going on. I think Terran's got to get this expansion up pretty soon. He's going to fall behind.
Well, they're also giving each other a lot of time to build their army up in the meantime. I mean, they're avoiding each other. They're taking peeks and pop shots at each other, trying to move out to the mainland. And in the meantime, in between, a ton of units are being produced by both players.
Now we see that both these factories over here are upgrading. That means this one's, in my opinion, probably going to be upgrading Vulture mines, or probably siege mode actually, while the other one's upgrading Vulture speed.
We see another command center build. That command center has been floated, and we're going to see Daniel move that out to a new expansion point.
Okay, there's a drop over here going on in the Protoss base. Bike's coming down here. That look is going to be looking for these probes. He wants to kill these probes.
Those siege tanks have been planted. They are in siege mode.
There's some more dropships coming. I don't know if these are full or not.
Maybe trying to distract.
He's going to try to pick this up. He's going to try to control this perfectly. If this tank can kill this Dragoon, this is going to be a real pain. All right, this Dragoon has low life. All right, good. It's gone.
It's down.
Dropship going back in. He's going to try to siege up. He's going right behind the middles. He's going to try to kill these probes. Every probe that he loses, the Protoss is going to feel it. I can tell you, it's not a good situation to be in.
There is absolutely nothing that Andrew has at his base to defend against, except for those probes.
Yeah, the probes had to pull out. He's going to wait for a Dragoon to come. This is not looking good for right now for the Protoss. Now, Protoss, unlike Terran, I think if Protoss were to lose his main, he could still come back and win this. Terran is a different race. It functions entirely differently. I think if Terran, all his supply depots, everything like that, it's all in his main. But this is where I'm interested in seeing how this is going to turn out. Protoss now taking another expansion. I don't know if he's going to sack his main or not. It's up to... all right, Protoss going to counter. He's going to try to counter this expansion. Protoss needs to kill this expansion right now. I mean, otherwise he's in some serious doo-doo.
we have some Dragoons rallying in the midfield, moving up to the newly
watch the shuttle.
expansion.
It's doing some damage. He's dropping the zealots. He's dropping the zealots on the tank, but it didn't kill it. Can he keep these tanks alive? Can he do it? They're planting mines. They're trying to keep the Dragoons back. Terran's doing everything he can to keep this expansion alive.
Down to 2 Dragoons now. Vultures laying it on thick.
These Dragoons are not going to be able to cut it, I don't think.
They're just not going to be able to survive the drops.
There aren't any SCVs there. I think Terran's going to fill up another dropship and probably just save this, but we'll have to see.
And it looks like that Daniel has been effective in almost securing this base. 2 Dragoons left, 1 SCV. All the SCVs have been taken down, but 1 he has tried to hide.
Here come those dropships.
Dragoon's going to fish him off. 2 dropships coming in
like
from above.
More
SCVs.
Now SCVs are strong units. They can kill this Dragoon. It's up to the Dragoon. It's what RTS players called micro. He's going to make these units worth more than they actually are. He's going to try to pull them back. All right, there they go. Now he's actually pulling them back.
And he is going to opt not to chase that Dragoon off.
I would have done the same thing. I would have gotten out of there. That's not comfortable. As you can see, he's got observers all over there. You can see exactly what he has. Tanks coming in there. He's going to try to reinforce that. Let's take a look at the Protoss's main.
I think he played that very well. Daniel did an excellent job of defending that expansion.
Yeah, he lost all of his stuff, but at the same time, so did the Protoss. So at the end of the game, I mean, Protoss had 2 practically dead Dragoons, had to pull out. Now this tank is still here, killing the Nexus. Dragoon's going to come in here and try to save this. More Dragoons coming in here. Now, I don't know what happened to the 2 tanks I saw here earlier, but they're gone.
They were there seconds ago.
They were second. We saw it, and I don't know. He must have tried to drop them somewhere else. Now, this game might swing around. Terran might be able to pull this off. Here come dropships. I'm guessing they're going to be tanks in here. He's going to siege them back far away from the Dragoons and try to block it off with SCVs.
One Dragoon down, the second one taking heavy fire. 2 Vultures have laying spider mines. And the Dragoons down. 2 more Dragoons to the south. We have some Zealots coming in. 2 Zealots I see. Going to try and finish off some SCVs.
Now, can these Zealots do it? Can they kill him? We'll have to see. It looks like Protoss might be able to do this.
Going after the siege tanks. The Zealots laying into them quite heavily.
Now, if you notice, the siege tanks were so close together that they couldn't quite cover each other. Siege tanks can't shoot what's right in front of them, and that's one of the disadvantages about using siege mode in a situation like that, is you have to have something covering the siege tank.
You just have to have that range, and it wasn't there.
Also, interestingly, he's making some gateways over here in the corner, or I suppose the middle right of the map, probably to try to secure expansions over here. Now, these guys are both, this game's actually playing out a lot like the other game. They're both swinging a lot of punches. They're both doing a lot of damage. They're basically just trying to put each other behind. Terran has some buildings around the map, like this engineering bay. In case he sees Protoss trying to expand here, he can land the engineering bay, and now Protoss has to try to kill this thing before he can even start expanding there. We also see Terran expanding to the top right. This is not very well defended, but hopefully he'll be able to pull it off.
Just a spider mine laying in the upper left-hand corner, waiting for more expansion from the Protoss.
Now remember that Protoss needs to have a detector to see spider mines, and probes cannot build a nexus while a spider mine's there. So that's just one thing that just put him behind. Now it looks like Protoss is going to come up here with another attack. We'll see if he can pull it off. We got a couple tanks, but we don't have that many things. No bikes here covering the tanks. Zealot's going to drop.
Zealots in and trying to take down
the tanks. He's going to rush these tanks over here in the corner. These tanks are not, this is not good.
3 tanks down so far.
The SCVs have to block this. He has to control it perfectly. Can this Dragoon do it? Can he kill this? No.
62 life left on 1 siege tank.
3 more Dragoons.
These
SCVs have got to block it. They've got to repair. You got to repair that tank, and he's not going to do it. The tank's gone. But so is the Dragoon. I'm sure Protoss is going to keep reinforcing this.
2 Dragoons left, trying to take down the missile turret. We have a
factory landing now on low ground. He's got to get tanks there.
Observer coming in to help out the Protoss, just see what's going on.
Killing some SCVs. This is not a comfortable position for Terran to be in.
This is really hurting Daniel's economy right now.
You're absolutely right. And here comes some more tanks. Now, he needs these siege tanks up here to try to cover these ones. He's got to pull these tanks back a little bit more. He's got to wait for these Zealots to die. Zealot's going to kill a tower. That is not good. And remember, the splash damage from the tanks can kill his own SCVs.
He's dropped 3 or 4 Zealots into this expansion base, and they're absolutely
All right, now looking good. Now looking good. He's trying to save it again, but I don't know if he can do it. These things have low life. Now remember, Terran units, they can repair themselves, but they still can die very easily to Protoss forces.
And Daniel makes it out in his Terran base with one siege tank left, several SCVs just
He
sitting.
needs to take these SCVs. He needs to get back to mining. It's
Oh,
GG.
look at that. Good game.
He knew that he was laying it on too hard. And in an update we have over here, we have Nero is surprisingly 1-0 with Froz, the USA Championship winner from last year. I just got an update from someone over there. And I'm interested in seeing how that turns out as well.
So another good game.
Now, you got to remember, Slog and Nyokin are now 1-1, unless I'm mistaken, which means that we got a final game coming up.
That is